Last week I broke down Tabitha Brown's post and reframed her TED Talk as telling everybody to get a day job. That was part one. This is part two. And we have to be clear about the shift. Now TED means tricking everybody with deception. Because when you actually sit with her words, every single one of them, which we gonna do, what looks like care is really condescension. And what sounds like encouragement is really passive-aggressive judgment. And what she offered wasn't clarity, y'all. It was deception wrapped in a smile. So let's go line by line. And of course, I'm going to mock her, okay? Hello there. Real quick, this is not to discourage you because I want us to be clear about that first, okay? That's the first tell. When somebody opens up by saying this is not to discourage you, what follows is always discouragement. It's just like when somebody says not to sound racist and then they start being racist, girl. It's like a fake insurance policy. I told you it's love, so you can't call it what it really is. That's manipulation. And she says, I want us to be clear while being unclear. If you were clear, you wouldn't need to keep saying it. You've been kind of in this place for a long time, okay? What place? Who's she talking to? Who is the you? See, that's the trick. She never says. She leaves it vague enough that anybody watching could think, damn, maybe she talking about me. That's not guidance, girl. That's casting as shame, okay? Now listen, you got good ideas. Baby, you got good ideas. Your execution is not as good, okay? Your follow through not as good. The ideas, though, are great. Here comes the classic nice nasty sandwich. Compliment, insult, compliment. Baby, you got good ideas, but your execution isn't good. And let's be real. Execution isn't tied to money so much as it's tied to resources and access. It's easy to say execution is weak when you have the cushion of a two-parent household, a husband who was a cop with a stable income, and the financial literacy that comes with all of that. Not everybody has that or had it. Not everybody starts there. Entrepreneurship is not for everybody. And that doesn't mean it's not for you. But right now, these last few months, few years, you know what I'm talking about. No, girl, nobody knows what you're talking about. Nobody knows what you're talking about. Nobody knows what you're talking about because you didn't say. This is what happens when you imply instead of clarify. It becomes a blank screen for everybody to project on. People end up trying to decode a riddle instead of hearing a message. And then you get mad at us for misunderstanding you, girl. That's textbook narcissism. Baby, it ain't working for you, okay? That's not encouragement. Again, that's still a verdict. That's a sentence being handed down. And you're doing, I gotta include these and you're doing a lot of robbing Peter to pay Paul, okay? Now, this is where she started to get me effed up because this is really foul. Because that phrase is usually meant to shame. It paints entrepreneurs as reckless with money, shady with the way they pay bills. It paints this level of dishonesty with the way entrepreneurs hustle. It ignores that, most of us are working 2 or 3 job hustles to keep our lights on to begin with, girl. To continue. You done got yourself in some mess and it's time for you to get a job. Again, judgment, not guidance. Some mess, in quotes, is vague enough to feel like an indictment, but with no specifics, so it can't be refuted. And then the refrain, get a job, like a good old Motown song. Like jobs are just sitting out here waiting. This is one of the worst parts of it. Because if you actually know the economy, you know jobs aren't stable, wages are flat, and Black unemployment stays the highest in the country. And on top of that, AI is eliminating jobs faster than people can retrain. Just get a job is not advice. It's out of touch. You hear me? You're just going to need to get a job for a little while, okay? The repetition here is authority dressed as love. It's not a suggestion. It's a command. It's brainwashing. It doesn't mean your ideas ain't good, okay? It don't mean maybe one day you could be a good entrepreneur. But you have You have to prove yourself to yourself and everybody else that you owe money to. Girl, this is where she had me fucked up for real, because this is where that whole saccharine mask slips off. You have proven. That is a claim of false authority. Proven how? Proven to who? Like what receipts? And then you dragging everybody else that you owe money to in it? That is diabolical, as the babies would say. Who is everybody else? That's an invention of your narrative, not care, girl. That ain't working for you right now, okay? It ain't. It ain't worked for a while. It actually has never worked yet. Now, this is where she has some real damage here. 100% out of 100% of entrepreneurs are working. Nobody is idle. Okay, nobody is lazy. To say entrepreneur has never worked is dishonest, and it disrespects the grind of every single person who's out here doing both. It doesn't mean it won't ever work, but right now you need to go to work. Now, this is that good old southern bless your heart bullshit that they like to do. It's that sort of like passive aggressive pivot. It's like they sprinkle this hope over your shit sandwich and then slam the door in your face with it. You know, you're gonna need to get a job, okay? And then keep working towards it. But at least you have a job while you are pursuing that thing. But right now, you need to get a job, baby, all right? It's the repetition for me that's the giveaway. It's not encouragement. It's like somebody hammering their bullshit in your face. That's it. I love you. Okay, now I want you to mind your business, all right, and have a good night. And tomorrow I want you to have a good day. But even if you can't have a good one, what she say? Don't you dare go messing with anybody else's here. Don't be mad at me, okay? I love you. That's that. And this is where we come to a coda. She uses that I love you like a shield. She uses that mind your business as a leash. Don't be mad at me as a defense. All of that quote unquote care is weaponized into control. And then the final insult, and we're going to go here, is when she not only had to come back and make multiple posts, okay, but then then she brought the children in it. She reposted this tab time clip from her show about how to manage your feelings. Here's what she erased, though, because the receipts don't lie. 44% of new entrepreneurs juggle another job. A third of small business owners work up to 60 hours a week, and a quarter of entrepreneurs work over 60. Entrepreneurs are not lazy. They're exhausted, as I said. They are overextended, as I said. And her words erase that reality in one sweep. Now, here's the thing, because this is bigger than Tabitha. This is about, for me, a particular psychological lineage. For generations, Black women were forced to survive by packaging authority and critique in palatable tones. The mammy figure, the church mother, the auntie who scolds with a smile. Tone as armor, passive aggression as survival, but survival has turned into performance. It's now brand, right? Tabitha has monetized the mammy auntie cadence. Her sweetness, that southern drawl, that baby at the start of every correction. But when you strip away the cadence, nothing but condemnation and no accountability. That's why it doesn't land. And this is why I'm saying this, because this has been called out before. If you go back to Iyanla Fix My Life with the Pace sisters, June and Leslie Pace were confronted directly for their nice, nasty behavior, and Miss Van Zandt didn't let that slide. She named it for what it was, manipulation. Saying something cruel, then softening it with a laugh, a smile, or a "you know I love you." That's the exact same pattern Tabitha deployed in her TED Talk, girl. Only this time, it was dressed up in brand deals and Target partnerships. I said what I said. At the end of the day, the generational divide is loud. Millennials and Gen Z are not here for it. Oh God, we've been through too many narcissistic family members, too many abusive systems, too many churches that gaslighted. We don't need implication. We don't need sugar on poison, girl. We need truth. We need clarity the first time. And that's why, just to bring them in, and I know I shouldn't, because they probably gonna say, why am I in it? That's why women like Amanda Seales, Dominique Morgan, and Angelica Ross, they stand out to me. They say shit once. They're clear. They don't have to circle back 3 more times to clarify. And if they do stick on the topic, it's not for their benefit. It's for the benefit of the listener. Okay? They don't hide judgment inside an I love you. They don't weaponize tone. As a matter of fact, they call a thing, and that's the difference. So, to close, Tabitha's TED Talk wasn't mentorship. It was a performance. It was deception with a smile. And if your words don't leave people freer, then don't tell me they came from the Spirit of the Lord. Okay? Child, please. That's why you had to come with, again, 2 more posts, plus that passive-aggressive ass tab time post about how children deal with their feelings. Instead of just saying you weren't clear, baby. All right. Now you be blessed. Or whatever passive-aggressive ass statement you're going to use in a monolithic way. The fuck? Anyway, please forgive my immodesty because y'all already know how I do. This is the real truth they don't want you to see. This is BlaccDandy322. On God.